simple, stupid stuff like that there. But the one bit that was just, every time I see it, I'm just mesmerised by it, because I'm just like, how flipping hard would this be to pull off? Now, this is officially the beginning of the reviews, the classic reviews of the entire Laurel and Hardy collection. Now, my original plan was for this series was to go back to the very first film, you know, before they were a comedy duo. There's a few shorts on there that predate them becoming a comedy duo. And I was going to go back and I was going to begin from like the earliest stuff right up to the end. But I was going through the box set, and the way they have the films laid out is they've got one feature and then they've got like associated shorts along with it. So I was thinking, instead of actually doing it the original way I wanted to do it, and beginning right up to the end of the career, let's just go the route the box set has left out. So I began with DVD number 1, and that is a CHUMP at Oxford as the feature on here. Now, this film is fantastic. It's got, I'm just going to read what's on the back of the cover here. Excuse me, my eyesight is shocking. One of Laurel and Hardy's best loved feature films, A CHUMP at Oxford sees him travelling to England to obtain an education, only for Stan to be revealed as the long lost British aristocrat. Also included in the classic silent comedy Soup to Nuts. Well, this goes into the other 2 films, which I'll cover in the next episode, in the next classics episode, I should say. Now, A CHUMP at Oxford, oh my goodness, this was so much fun for me. Like, I have seen this film so many times, but in all fairness, since I actually sat down and watched any of these films properly, you're probably talking, gosh, probably 6-7 years at the very most. So there's little bits and pieces on here that I've completely forgotten about. Now, as I said in the previous introduction Laurel and Hardy video, the choreography in these films is absolutely fantastic. Like, I'll get to that in a second, okay? But the start of this film, Laurel and Hardy, the opening joke was fantastic. They're in the back of this big luxury car and they're dressed up really smart, and Ollie has got the big cigar, and Stan's sitting in the back seat along with him, and they've got a chauffeur in front of them. And at the opening of the film, this car is driving down the street and you think, wow, Laurel and Hardy are on their feet in this one. They've made cash here, they're doing well for themselves. And the car pulls up and the driver says, sorry guys, you're going to have to get out here. And yeah, it turns out that this chauffeur just stopped and offered them a lift, and they're actually heading towards the unemployment office to look for work. So that they wind up posing. Well, they find out there's a job in there for a butler and a maid, and of course Ollie tells them he knows a couple, and it basically ends up with Stanley masquerading as a woman, and Ollie is the butler. But I did say Ollie is the butler. What the heck is wrong with me? But yeah, wackiness ensues. It's not long before they get the sack and get kicked out again. After that, they end up being street cleaners, sweeping the streets, and they end up foiling a bank robbery, and by complete accident, which is the main thing. Something happens to Laurel and Hardy in their wacky, crazy world. It usually ends up in something completely by accident. Something good happens to them. So they foil this bank robbery, and the bank manager, he offers them a job working at the bank. But Stan and Ollie say, well, we're not going to be much help to you because we've got no education, and they're just talking about going back to night school. So the bank manager says, okay, if it's an education you want, you're going to get the best. So he pays for them to go and get educated at Oxford. So once they land there, Of course, they no sooner get there to the other students, see them arriving, and of course they start playing pranks on them. Now I'm talking about choreography and stunts. This isn't even really a stunt, but one of the first pranks they play on them is they send them into this maze, and you need to go and get a pass for such and such, but you need to go through here, go into this maze, and you go left, you go right, those mazes with the hedges and stuff. So they send them in there. Of course they get lost. It's like it's the middle of the night, the students come out, and this guy, he dresses up like a ghost with this wee black hat on him, really a bit like the hat that Slash wears in Guns N' Roses, but like a skull face. So he goes into the maze to mess with Laurel and Hardy. At this point, they've decided to take a break, and they're sitting on this summer seat with the hedge behind them. So, of course, this guy's behind the hedge, so while these pair are sitting here, they're kind of like, they're falling asleep. So, every once in a while this guy will stick his hand through the hedge and come in behind their face and like tickle their top lip and make Ollie sneeze. And then, simple stupid stuff like that there. But the one bit that was just, every time I see it I'm just mesmerised by it, because I'm just like, how flipping hard would this be to pull off? There's at one point where Stanley is lying there, almost sleeping. Now, I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't see where my hands is at. That's them there. So, the camera is so far away compared to my eyesight, like, my eyesight's shocking. But anyway, let's get through this quick. Stanley is sat there, he's kind of falling asleep, and he's got the hands clasped in front of him, and he's doing the, turning his thumbs, I guess, here. But at one point, Stanley puts this hand down, and he ends up with this other guy sticks his hand through the hedge behind him, so it's somebody else's hand comes in underneath Stanley's arm, comes up here, connects with Stanley's hand, and there's all this here stuff, and it's flawlessly done. And the whole time Stan's actual arm is down here, and he doesn't actually catch on until he lifts his own hand, puts it up, and he has free hands here. But just that there alone, I mean, it's so simple. Me explain this to you now, but it's just little things got there. The Laurel and Hardy films is just mesmerising to me. But there is some other parts later on in the film where the pranks keep going against Laurel and Hardy with these students. Students pose as the dean of the university, gives them their quarters to move into, which turn out to be the quarters of the actual dean himself. So at one point there's a short fight between Laurel and Hardy and this dean, and that's hilarious, absolutely fantastic. But anyway, yes, I'm not going to say much more about the film beyond that there, but this film is actually so enjoyable. Like, I left the recording this video so late in the day, I really, like, gosh, I should really have been in bed an hour ago to get up for work in the morning, but just had to get through this video and get a little review done on this for you. So what I'm going to give you on this here review for a CHUMP at Oxford, a rock and roll rating, if I had to give it 10, I'm going to give it a great, because it is a flipping great film and it earns it.